Hello, friend. Jim here with JB's Big Adventure, coming to you from Lake Chapala, Mexico. And in this video, just as you see in the thumbnail, I'm going to be talking about the 3 best ATMs to use at Lake Chapala. The best 3, but I'm actually going to give you a total of 6 ATMs to use and which banks they are. But before I get to that, if you haven't already, I'd like to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's a great community, and I know you want to be a part of it. All you've got to do is go to the little red box in the bottom right-hand corner, tap on it, you'll be subscribed, and you'll know when our next video comes out. Also give us one of those thumbs up to let other people know it's a great video to watch about moving and retiring to Lake Chapala. So let's get to the good stuff. So what I'm sharing with you is 6 banks. But I'll share with you the first 3 that Barbara and I have found to be probably some of the most reliable, and also, I would say, probably best exchange rates. Now, what's the exchange rate? Well, when you have a $1 bill US, that's equal to 20 Mexican pesos. So 20 Mexican pesos equals $1. So if we're talking about $5, that would be 100 Mexican pesos. So 100 Mexican pesos is $5 US. So I'm going to share with you a little bit more about the numbers here in just a moment. But let's go ahead and let me share with you the first 3 banks. So the first bank that you see is called Intercam. Now, Intercam has been a great bank. There are 2 that are in town. I'm going to be doing a video here shortly I'll be meeting with the general manager about doing a video about banking in Mexico. Now, I did one on banking, and I gave the information it was important to use to be opening up a bank account, but I didn't get to talk to anyone. And so I met Alejandra, and we talked about getting together and doing a video about banking in Mexico and specifically being a part of Intercam Bank. So that is an easy and quick ATM to get to. Now, let me share this with you also. And that is, I'm just mentioning to you about the exchange rate. Remember I said that $1 is equal to 20 pesos. What that means is 20 pesos is equal to $1, just the other way around. There are some ATMs that you'll go to, and what they'll end up doing is asking you if you're okay with the initial exchange rate. If they ask that, you want to decline, because when you do that, you're now going to be getting the better exchange rate. It's a way that some banks have their ATMs set up to ask that question. Now, as I just mentioned, what you want to do is if that comes up, just say decline. Now, there are times when you decline, it's just going to go ahead and end your transaction. And you'll have to go back in, put your card back in, put your PIN back in to get money out. But when you come across that, just know if the ATM ends up spitting your card back out after you hit decline, just realize, put it back in there again and go ahead and go through the transaction. Because there are ATMs that are set up to where you're getting the better exchange rate. What do I mean by that? Well, it fluctuates. The exchange rate could be 19.5 to 20. I'm sorry. $1 is equal to 19.5 pesos or 19 pesos. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to include a link in the description of the video that you can actually go to, type in whatever kind of amount that you want to type in, and it will tell you what dollar amount is that equal to in US. So what I'll do is you'll be able to put in there $1, and then it'll tell you 19.25, which is 19.25 pesos per $1. So it does fluctuate. So that, along with the ATMs that you use, is going to be what kind of makes somewhat of that difference. And you have to kind of shop it. You've got to, if you're wanting to get the most for your money, what you do is you have to kind of wait until the exchange rate's higher. Sometimes it's just kind of like a crapshoot. What ends up happening is it's the next day and you've already taken money out, but the exchange rate was lower. But now you go to the bank and now it's higher. Now it doesn't fluctuate 5 pesos or anything. It's a matter of one. So it's like 19 point something. I don't think we've used it yet that it's 18. Now, if you're watching this and you're in the U.S. and you're coming to Lake Chapala, don't get pesos at the airport. I believe the last person that I went out with on my relocation service said that they got like 15 or 16 pesos to the dollar. As you can see, they make money on that. That's exactly what that ATM does. That's the individual that owns that ATM. They're getting that difference. So I want to make sure you're aware of that because that makes a big difference when you go to the bank. So you will be able to see most of the time what that exchange rate is. So Intercam Bank, that is one of the banks. The second one is the HSBC. This is a Hong Kong bank, but they've got branches in the U.S. and the States, and they've also got branches here. And so the one that we go to is actually the one that's right across the street from Walmart. And it's real simple. You go to it. It doesn't even ask the exchange rate anymore because it's giving the better rate. I believe that one is what Barbara's told me is that's the one that actually just gives you the better rate when you actually are getting your pesos. And the third one is actually at Walmart, inside Walmart. Now, when you're in Walmart, once you go inside and you look immediately to the right, all the way to the wall, that's where the ATMs are. There's an ATM in front of you on the left and right, and then there's one that's on the right-hand side that's from another bank. When you're looking at the wall, the one you want to be using is the one to the right, not the ATM on the left, but the one on the right. That gives you the best exchange rate. How do we know that? When we came and we were trying to check all this out, remember, I'm telling you, we had to figure a lot of these things out. But we were told that the better exchange rate is from that other machine. And so I let people know. In fact, I did a video about this. I don't know. It's been half a year, 8 months ago. I don't remember. When you've done as many, we've got over 280 videos now. And for just kind of boggles my mind, I don't remember how long ago it was. So forgive me on that. But it's been more than a half a year ago. It might be 3/4 of a year ago. But anyway, so that's the one that you want to use inside Walmart. So I've just given you three. I've given you Intercam, I've given you HSBC, and I've given you Walmart. Now, the two that are the easiest to find, obviously, is going to be the one is the HSBC because it's right where the Libramento, which is the highway that goes to Guadalajara, and the Carretera cross. Right at that intersection. That's where the HSBC is, just on the backside of the mall, right along the road there. And the other one is at Walmart. So they're right across the street from each other. Now, once you start going in west into Ajijic, the other bank, the Intercams, will be down, and as you're going into town, it will then be on the left-hand side, just as you're kind of making the slight grade going up, that will be on the left. So those are three of the better ATMs that I know that we get pesos from. Now, this next set of three, one is BBVA. That's a bank that's even in the States. It's a Mexican bank. That's one that we use. Also, the one that's on the far right, I think Barbara Axe probably uses the most, and it's Multiva. Multiva is a Mexican bank. And the thing is, when you go to that one, they pretty much give you also the better rate. Now, that one is just next to Donna's Donuts and right next to Letty's rental car agency, right next door. It's an ATM there. And that's the one it seems like we use the most because we go have breakfast and then, if Barbara's needing to pull any money out of the bank, that's where she goes and does it because it's right there and close by. And then the sixth one is the Canadian bank. It's called Scotia Bank. They only have an ATM. There's no bank that you go inside to. It is only an ATM, but there's also that bank. And it's also, it's very easy to get to because it's right next to the storage business and also next to Domino's. So those are the six banks that you'll get your best bang out for your dollar. There's others that are into Chapala and such, but these are the banks that I wanted to share with you that we've used, that I've talked to other folks that have used, that are the better banks that have given the better experiences. Now, I mentioned to you that I was going to talk to you about the exchange rate again, which means for 1,000 pesos, it's $50. It's like half. What you do is you take off the last zero, and what half? That's $50. So 1,000, take off a zero is 100, divided in half is 50. So that's an easier way of thinking about that. So what does that mean? That means if you're looking at 2,000 pesos, that's $100. 2,000, take off the zero, makes it 200. Half of that is 100. So that would be $100. And looking at a higher amount, looking at 10,000 pesos, 10,000, it sounds like, wow, all this money. Well, it's actually only $500. So and it takes some time when you get here. That's one of the things about getting here, about just trying to acclimate yourself. There is a period that you're going to go through that you're going to be in you're going to be like a dry sponge, and you want to take it all in just because of the fact information is coming to you from all over the place. And it can be daunting for some. But what I want to let you know, I want to encourage you, just realize there is a point where you've got to get acclimated. It's a different country. It's a language that probably 95% of the folks that are coming here from the States don't speak. So it's new. It's an adventure. And what you've got to do is, for one, appreciate the culture, and realize it's their country. So we need to learn their way of banking. We need to learn what the numbers are, what the exchange rate is. Those are things that we have to be on top of. Why? Because we're in their country. How would it be if they were in the States? How would you feel? You live in Texas, you're in California, you're in Colorado. If somebody was there that was from Mexico, would you expect them to speak English right off the bat? There are some that do. But are they all going to speak English because they're from here? No. They'll come and they'll struggle themselves dealing with the English. So realize it's important for us, because we're guests here. It's important for us to learn how the money works. In other words, what the exchange rate is important, but you can pretty much count on just realizing it's 20 pesos to $1, and it makes it a lot easier to understand the numbers. So, there's another one I wanted to share with you here, and that is 1 million pesos. 1 million pesos. That sounds like I did a larger number, but actually it's $500,000. So when do you see that kind of number? You see that whenever you're looking at purchasing real estate, because it's a larger expense, or purchasing a car, although a car is not 1 million pesos. But so when you get to the larger numbers, again, the same thing. When you drop that last zero, think of it as being half. So that makes it a lot easier. And I hope that's made it easy for you to kind of look back at and say, okay, 1 million pesos, 500,000. Okay, so it's 100 pesos, it's $5. It's 1,000 pesos, it's $50. So I hope that's helped. And I hope that this has helped you to understand and the quickest way to get to your money. And what we have found is we don't have a bank account here in Mexico. We're actually with USAA. And with USAA, what we're able to do is have access to, because we live on one Social Security check. So when a check comes in, it's deposited in the bank, we're able to use our ATM card here, get the monies out, and take care of the rent. Well, actually, we send we send the rent from bank to bank in the States, since our landlord's actually in the States. So just a little bit about the banking system, a little bit about the banks and the best ones to go to for the best exchange rates, the easier ones to get to the ATMs themselves. With that, hope that's been helpful. Friend, if you haven't, I'd like to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's a great community. I know you want to be a part of it. All you got to do is go to the bottom right-hand corner, tap on that little red box, and you're subscribed, and you'll know when our next video comes out. On top of that, go ahead and give us one of those thumbs up to let other people know it's a great video to watch, and also helps with the analytics with YouTube so more people can see this video about getting access to your money. Also, stop by and say hi, ask a question, leave a video idea, and also make sure you hit the bell, because that way you'll be immediately notified of when our next video comes out, and you don't want to miss our next video. So as always, thank you for being a part of this community and part of this channel. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you on the next video.